I went into this business with a very adventurous mindset, and a little bit of a fuck you type of mindset, which I think we all need to have when we're getting started. Uh, but then I learned, oh, I'm not sure this is, I think I need to have a little bit more reliable of a career. And so I adapted to a little bit more of that, the constraints and the parameters that are there, and spent most of my career playing by the rules and doing what needed to be done in order to get radio hits. That was what my career was. And while it wasn't all terrible, it certainly wasn't what I had in mind when I first got into this business. I definitely was more of that rebel. But I learned very quickly that if you're gonna win in the game of the music business, you got to play by the music business's rules. And
I mean, that's why we stopped.
That's why we stopped.
In the year 2000, we decided against it, and we were away for 23 years.
Yeah, because we did. I mean, we realized that, I think, when the first time we had management was in '98. A manager reached out to us, and we went back from the United States back to Europe, and we went to Finland, which was where she was based. And that was our first time having management and kind of having someone make decisions that were business decisions. And she very much wanted to sell us, because we were 21 at the time. We looked even younger. She wanted to kind of sell this kind of Tokyo Hotel type boy rock band, which we thought was an insult to the high level of our art that we were
because we were considering ourselves a normal band, not a team band,
exactly.
but just a band.
A band. Right? And she got...
And without team.
She had connections to Sony Records at the time, so we had this offer from Sony Records for a contract. And they said, okay, like we're going to give you a development contract, probably one of these awful things. And but you do have to get rid of your drummer because he's too old and too ugly. And we're going to bring someone in for the songwriting. And you're going to change this and you're going to change that. And we were just like, well, no, fuck you. We're not interested in that. Like we do it our way, or we're not doing it. So then we had this, so we turned them down, had this massive falling out with our manager because she was not getting the money that she would have gotten. And then she didn't pay for the recording studio but we had already recorded. And then all of a sudden we had all these debts because, and then it was like a big drama, and our road manager ended up footing the bill, and it was great in a way.
And we ended up leaving the country.
We ended up leaving the country very, very quickly.
When in doubt, leave the country.
Yes, exactly. Just kind of fucked off and didn't leave an address. But that was sort of the moment where we really started questioning the music business and what we wanted to do. And we kind of started looking at bands and how bands were handling it. And we realized that we probably didn't want to label, definitely not at that point. And then we looked at bands who were kind of getting by touring and getting their money in through just self-organized tours and stuff like that. And we were like, that's not the kind of life we want to lead. We don't want to be on the road like 250 days a year.
No, because we wanted to have a cat.
Well, we had a cat.
Yeah.
So we weren't going to do that.
Right.
And I think then after just kind of thinking it all through, we were like, okay, we don't want to sell our art. We don't want to compromise. We don't want to be a touring band. We don't want to sort of do that kind of grind. So we can't do it. And then we just stopped, and we really stopped from 100 to 0. We went back to school. We did this completely different thing, and we had no interest in doing music as a hobby. We thought it was impossible. Like either you do it professionally or you don't do it, and that's it. We walked out on it because of having had a glimpse into that business and having decided like, no, we can't do that. That's nothing we can do. And I
mean, the only reason why we now decided to make music again is because with, this whole modern way of being an indie artist, we just realized now we can do it without the music industry.
Yeah, without a record label.
They say, so